And he also declared he's the first and only 2024 presidential nominee to work at McDonald's, despite Kamala Harris's assurances that she worked there in the 80s. You know, the same lines she keeps peddling out as part of the "I'm from a middle-class background" spill.
I've now worked for 15 minutes more than Kamala.
Are you going to put this on your resume?
I never worked here.
Why would she lie about something like that? Will be put on your resume.
Worked at McDonald's.
Why would she lie about that?
Why? Because she's lying, Kamala, that's why.
Joining me now is the host of Prime Time with Alex Stein on Blaze TV, Alex Stein. Alex, good to see you. Is this a stroke of genius by Donald Trump?
Well, absolutely. If you think about it, Kamala Harris lied about working at McDonald's. Nobody worked with her. They talked to corporate. There was no record or indication that she was ever an employee there. So Donald Trump knows that. And if Kamala Harris will lie about cooking French fries, she will lie about anything else. So I think this is very important for the campaign. As silly as it may seem, this made a huge point, especially to the American people that love McDonald's. Donald Trump is a man of the people, and he's not afraid of a Big Mac or a large order of French fries.
Absolutely. It was so good to just see him out there. He doesn't care, and I just think it's brilliant. Now, Donald Trump is calling for CBS to have its licence pulled over Kamala Harris's recent interview, of course, with 60 Minutes, claiming it was edited to make her look good. This is what he said.
She gives an answer that shows that she's dumb or incompetent or something wrong with her. It's so bad that the people at CBS say, we're not going to do a little editing, like the word "the," make it there, something. You understand? They take the whole ridiculous answer out, and it was a long answer, and replace it with a much shorter answer that she did having to do with a totally different subject, which also didn't make sense.
Alex, why won't CBS just release the unedited tapes?
Well, the left-wing media here in America hates Donald Trump. Yeah, Donald Trump had a show called The Apprentice that was #1. I mean, Donald Trump was loved by rappers, by actors, by professional athletes. And now the media absolutely hates him and will do anything to skew him in this negative light. So, of course, they're going to help Kamala Harris, who stinks at interviews, who's very, terrible at speaking, improvisationally. So, no, I'm not surprised. This has only been happening, over the past 12 years, even since before Donald Trump was president. So, this is terrible. But our left-wing media, they control the narrative, and they can create whatever bias they want that helps the leftists win this 2024 election.
Yeah, and Kamala, as we know, she can't speak without a teleprompter, so I'm sure that's also got to do with it too. And you mentioned the lefty media. Look, let's talk about MSNBC, the usual lunatic broadcasting station. They're having an absolute freak out. Host Al Sharpton and frequent guest Donnie Deutsch claimed that Donald Trump would place them on an enemies list if he was elected president again. Have a look.
Rev, are you worried going forward that you're on a list if Donald Trump is elected? Yes or no?
I'm convinced I'll be on the list.
I am too.
I don't know how we're not going to be.
And think about that. This is America. This is the United States of America, and people in the media, like the Rev, have to be concerned that they may be on a list. I have people saying to me, Donnie, are you worried? This is America. And yet people will still give permission to vote for Donald Trump. What's wrong with us?
Alex, this is so funny. The paranoia knows no bounds. It must be absolutely exhausting for these hosts at MSNBC.
Well, of course, they had to play the victim, but Al Sharpton was there when Jesse Jackson gave Donald Trump an NAACP award, so he has nothing to worry about. And Donald Trump loves the media. Donnie Deutsch, his career would only go up because Donald Trump would actually probably do an interview with somebody, even if they are a leftist, even if they are, a sad excuse for a journalist. Donald Trump will still speak to those people, so they don't realize this would help their ratings much more than Kamala Harris, who will probably get us into World War III or a recession or a financial collapse in the next 4 years, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Now, let's talk about the Al Smith dinner, the one, of course, that Kamala Harris missed, and sent in this really, really cringeworthy pre-recorded video instead.
Your Eminence and distinguished guests, the Al Smith dinner provides a rare opportunity to set aside partisanship.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, what's going on? Who was that?
Oh, sorry, Mary Catherine Elliott. Mary Catherine Elliott. It's so nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you, Mary Catherine. Right now I'm trying to record my speech for tonight's dinner.
Oh, yeah, I know. I just want to say that I'm Catholic, and tonight is one of the biggest dinners next to the Last Supper.
It is a very important dinner, and it's an important tradition that I'm so proud to be a part of.
Good grief. And now she's been, as you can imagine, totally roasted.
I was shocked when I heard that Kamala was skipping the Al Smith dinner. I'd really hoped that she would come because we can't get enough of hearing her beautiful laugh. Instead of attending tonight, she's in Michigan receiving communion from Gretchen Whitmer. If you really wanted Vice President Harris to accept your invitation, I guess you should have told her the funds were going to bail out the looters and rioters in Minneapolis, and she would have been here guaranteed.
Catholics will be a key demographic in every battleground state. I'm sorry, why is Vice President Harris not here?
Oh, I just love the roasting, Alex. But, you know, who is advising Kamala to do these ridiculous videos? It's so embarrassing.
And, you know, Molly Shannon, the actress in that SNL clip, was hilarious. But what they did is they lampooned Catholics, and that's what they try to do. There was recently a rally where somebody said Jesus is king, and Kamala Harris said this is the wrong rally. So it's very obvious that Kamala Harris does not care about people that believe in God, which is the opposite of Donald Trump. You may be Jewish, you may be Muslim, you may be Christian, but Donald Trump respects all religions, unlike Kamala Harris, who likes to make fun of religion. So it's not a surprise to me that she would use some sort of skit to make fun of Catholics at the biggest Catholic event of the year.
Yeah, it's just shocking. Now, this is fascinating because US Bachelorette contestant Josh Seiter has revealed to you personally, he came out and said that he's pretended to be trans for 5 to 6 months before revealing that that gender transition was nothing more than a social experiment to expose woke culture. Here is your chat with him.
I hope that this could help some people understand that just because you put on dresses and makeup as a man doesn't magically make you a woman.
Alex, I've got to say, he raises a great point. Last week, the left and the woke would have gladly accepted him as a trans woman into women's only spaces. Today, though, of course, as just a man, he isn't allowed to.
Well, you know, it just shows you the hypocrisy. And let's be real, you know, if you're an adult here in America and you want to be a transgender, that's okay. You know, it is what it is. We're a free country. But these people are putting on dresses and urinating in the restroom next to little kids. So it has gone too far here in America where freedom of speech or freedom of expression has become some sort of weird sexual ideology that we just help and promote people that have different sexual preferences. So listen, I'm not anti-gay, I'm not anti-trans, but it shows you that if a trans person will get mad that they can't compete against biological women, yet they will get mad at this guy for exposing how easy it is to pretend to be trans, it just shows you that we live in the upside down world and nothing makes sense.
No, it doesn't. I've got to ask you, though, but how did he keep up the act for so long? And had you been suspicious that it was an act?
Well, you know, I'm the first one to really call Josh out, and I just had an inkling that this was obviously some sort of social experiment. And when Josh finally told me that, hey, Alex, I want to come on your show, I want to just expose that this was all entirely just a social experiment, I was very grateful for him to come on the show and expose that. And J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, she engaged with it. So this has been a huge story. Now, I know a lot of people are going to have different feelings, whether Josh was good or bad, but I think what he did made a huge point that cannot be debated by the weird people on the left that want to sexually indoctrinate people into this weird LGBTQI trans cult. So I really applaud Josh for taking, you know, the risk that he took to pretend to be trans for this long. It was not easy. He's a great performance artist, and I think he made a very strong message.
I completely agree. Yeah, it's been fascinating to watch some of his videos over time too. Now, look, I've got to say, you are back out there doing God's work. You're doing stand-up comedy, this time live for Coppell City Council. We've got a bit of what you told the councillors.
There's a lot of people in the conservative community that are anti-trans, like they're saying that we should limit transgenders in women's sports. I don't think we should, guys, because we can gamble on transgenders and win money, guys. I won enough money from Leah Thomas. I turned draft kings into draft queens. That's how much money, right, Dawn? You like that?
Alex, I don't know how you can keep a straight face and just deliver those lines so perfectly, but tell us what you were doing there.
Well, you know, San Jose State, a college that's competing in the NCAA for women's volleyball, has been dominating, so much so that a lot of schools are actually forfeiting their games against them. And you know what? I'm sad that these schools are forfeiting because we can gamble on them. They'll give us lines. So listen, I'm all about women's equality and women's fairness, but if Las Vegas will give me odds, let all the transgenders in women's sports, because I actually want to gamble on them, and I'm actually interested for once in my life. So it took a man for me to be interested in women's sports. It's absolutely absurd.
I've got to ask you before we let you go, what was the reaction to those that were sitting in the audience?
Not good. You know, when I go to these public meetings, everybody's so uptight, everybody's so negative, that when I do these things, you would think that people would laugh and enjoy them. But sadly, because America is so messed up, everybody's at these meetings, you know, on edge. So I wish people would laugh, but they never laugh at the meetings. They always laugh when they watch it after the fact.
You are brilliant. Alex Stein, good to see you again. Thanks for joining us on the show.
Always a pleasure. Thank you for having me.